Hello everybody and welcome to Budapest, Hungary for what is round 8 of the Formula 2 My Career. With Michael Schumacher's Road to Formula 1. We are here, round 8, the Hungaroring, and we're going to see if we can carry on with our race to Formula 1. Just going to put some tyre pressures on. Right, let's go to track, flying lap then. See how we do here in Hungaroring for round 8 of the championship, which by the way is a 12-round championship. I need to apologise. I've incorrectly been saying all series long that Formula 2 is only a 10-race calendar. It's not. It's a 12-race calendar, which means we still have loads of races to go after this one. So see if we can get a good performance going today. On the power, it's a lovely long corner. Give it the beans, lift off. Give it the beans through here, lift off. Give it the beans. There's a bit of track limits. I tell you what, I don't have a lot of grip. Just driving far too fast. I'm going to go too fast. But we'll see. That wasn't fast enough. Grip. Let's abandon that, come back in. What? I'm very quick at round Hungaroring. Struggling a little bit.
If you want to know specific information or make certain changes to the car during a pit stop, you can tell me what you want over the radio. Press and hold the radio button to activate the system, and you can either speak the
losing
command
about
or select it
3/10 in
manually
that
from the radio screen that will appear on the
sector
multifunction
2.
display. While the radio is active, cycle through command groups with the MFD button.
As we wind down from the excitement
So,
of
I didn't actually qualify in pole for only the second time this season. Obviously, Monaco being the first instance where I wasn't fastest by any means, but I'm not fastest round Hungaroring. That's going to make the race a little bit interesting for me. Not used to starting on third. Second row of the grid. But hopefully, I've had some good starts just lately. Hopefully I can keep my good starts going. And don't get into any first corner incidents. Don't lose any front wings. Might be able to build and salvage something.
It's time for this weekend's Formula 2 race here at the Hungaroring. A popular track with a lot of history. I'm sure we're in for an absolute thrill ride of a race today.
25.3 degrees, clear and dry.
The Hungaroring is located 12 miles northeast of the capital, Budapest. It's 2.7 miles long, featuring 14 corners, and it's got a reputation for making overtaking difficult. Nevertheless, there's a history of some truly exceptional races here. Let's hope that our Formula 2 drivers can serve up some more of that today. Joining me for all today's excitement, a man who is no stranger to this challenging circuit, Davide Valsecchi. Davide, Hungaroring can be a tricky beast to master. What insight can you give us about today's race?
Ciao Alex, as you say, the circuit can be challenging. There's a lot of slow corner which can make overtaking very frustrating. This will be a good test of this young driver's patience. Waiting for the perfect moment to make an attack will be the key to moving up through the field today.
Well then, after an exciting session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Giuliano Alesi has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, with Dorian Boccalacci alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Schumacher, Hubert, Sergio Sette Camara, and Schumacher, Ilott, Beauchamp, Correa, Nobuharu Matsushita, 8-Kit, Joe, Jordan King, and Giotto, Latifi, Delatraz, Calderon, and Sean Galale. Mazepin and Mahavir Raghunathan starts.
Why is my teammate always so bad at qualifying? He always starts near freaking Raghunathan.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
I'm hoping to do a lot better than top 10, Jeff. Flip's sake. And we've got plenty of points on the board, Jeff. But, you know, we've got to keep going. Season's not over yet. The championship's not technically won yet. Mathematically, it's still possible for us to lose. So we've got to keep going. Not a lot I can do to the car setup in Parc Ferme to change it. The one thing I am going to try and do is make sure I go as long as possible on the soft tyres. Right, here we go then. 5 red lights coming on. And the lights are out and away we go. Good start. Fairly decent start. Now where are these two guys going to place themselves for this corner? We do not want to be 3 wide into the first turn. Oh, that was a bit close. That was a bit close. I almost got squeezed. Pincer movement from the two guys. And I'm just going to give myself a little bit of distance from them on this first lap. Till the tyres come up to temp, of course. Oh, this is going to be a brave move. This is going to be brave. Oh, we may have got contact there with Boccacelli, and Boccacelli may have gone. He may have gone off. Probably a broken suspension there for Boccacelli. Again, 3 wide into a corner does not work. Certainly not at Formula 2 level. Very rarely even at Formula 1. I've got the sun climbing all over my gearbox behind me. Go on, Mick, back off or you're not going to get your pocket money this week. If you don't leave me alone. Tough track, tough circuit, this circuit. Very tough circuit to drive, and especially drive quick. A lot of corners. And I'm not losing the cars behind me very quickly. I'm not building up a huge gap. Especially when I keep running wide. I think that's where Boccacelli's race came to an end. I'm not very happy on soft tyres. I don't know what it is about this career mode. But every time I'm on the soft tyres, the car just doesn't handle as well as it does for me on the harder tyres, the mediums or the hards. And it's the same when I've done Formula 1 races. I really do not like the soft tyres. And people might look at me and think I'm crazy. But I would sooner be on the mediums or the hards in any race. Considering these tyres are supposed to give me the most grip, I have the most understeer with these tyres. And also, for whatever reason, as soon as I fit these soft tyres to my car, my steering wheel becomes really, really
has
heavy.
just put up the fastest lap of the race so
And it's
far.
very off-putting when you're driving and controlling the game. When the steering wheel keeps going light, heavy, between sessions, between tyres, between stints. It might be my steering wheel because it's 12 years old. It might be the game not quite fully wanting to support my wheel. I don't know. I'm doing reasonably okay. Like I say, not putting out a massive gap. The car behind is still a second. Well, it's only, you know, early days of this 19 lap race, which is a flipping long race. I'm going to say that as well right now. This is a long race. And the sprint race is quite long too. I think that's about 14 laps.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums. Check your MFD for a new
No,
strategy
thanks, Jeff.
option.
Quite happy with my strategy, which is to go for as long as these tyres will last. And then
Understood. Copy that.
go for as long as these tyres will last, and then box. Run the mediums for as little amount of time as possible, because I believe, and this is only my belief, I believe you may possibly start the sprint race on the tyres that you finished this race on. I don't know if that's the actual rule in Formula 2, but when I start the sprint race, I notice my tyres are very heavily worn. I do not start the sprint race on a brand new set of tyres. So I wonder if you start the sprint race with whatever tyres you finished the feature race on, which is why the tyres that you finish this race on need to be in as perfect condition as you can get them to give you the chance of doing... I think that's why I've been caught out in the last couple of races. Because I've finished the races on tyres that have done lots of laps, and then I've had to start on those tyres, which is why in the last couple of sprint races I've had to pit when the other teams haven't. Because I've been on the wrong tyres. I've been on very old tyres. So basically what I'm going to do now for the rest of the season is try to, in the feature race, this race, is run the soft tyres for as long as I physically can. To make sure I'm using my preferred tyres for the least amount of time possible in the feature race. So I don't have to stop in the sprint race.
Caution.
Someone's gone off.
Caution.
Someone's gone off. Someone's in the barriers somewhere. Ah, just up ahead, look. Just up ahead, there's a car. Don't know whether that was a mechanical failure or collision. It's hard to say for definite.
We want to pit this lap, so
No,
push
I don't
now.
want to pit this lap, Jeff. I'm not going to pit. I'm not going to pit this lap. Like I say, I'm going to keep pushing, Jeff. These tyres have got life. Honestly, it's going to be better for me if I'm still on these tyres going fast when everybody else in the field is on the harder compound going slow. I can increase a good gap to them because typically speaking, Jeff, every time I've pitted this season, guys have been quite slow at changing my tyres. You're taking about 6 seconds stationary to change my tyres, which is not quick, you know. Formula 1 teams are doing it in 2 to 3 seconds. You're taking twice as long as the best Formula 1 teams. That's a huge time saving in a race that we could gain if you guys pulled your fingers out and got the wheels changed a bit quicker. Guys are still right behind me. Only 8/10, look. To my son, I have not been able to pull out a gap. But they're all pitting now, so that's going to give me a chance to pull out a gap, because when they come out the pits, they're going to be on the medium tyres or the hards, and they're not going to be quick for a lap or two. So the longer I can run these...
Tyre condition is still
Yes,
looking
Jeff,
good.
I know it is. Look, 40% wear on the left front, which is the highest worn tyre of any of them. The rest are all 35%, 36%, so I'm quite happy at this moment just to keep going, Jeff. I mean, ideally, I would like to get into the teens with these tyres. Before I bin them. Ooh, we've got some. They're coming. This corner's a bit of a pain. You want to be like, you feel like you want to be like full throttle through there, accelerating, ready for the start-finish straight, but you just can't get on the power in that corner.
Nikita is in the pits. Nikita in
Thanks,
the pits.
Jeff. Not that I'm boxing this lap anyway. Doesn't matter. Just cruising. Just cruising. Sunday drive for Michael Schumacher on a Saturday afternoon here in Hungary. Obviously, I expect things to be a lot different once we hit F1. I expect to have much tougher races with much tougher opposition, because the fact that when you're in F1, the cars will be all different performance. Will have different performances, you know. In this category where all the cars are the same spec, driver skill and ability is quite a lot of the time the deciding factor, and obviously Michael Schumacher's got a heck of a lot more experience, possibly skill, than some of these young kids beside him on the grid here. But once he hits Formula 1, if he's in a rubbish car, it doesn't matter how much skill he's got, he might not be able to pull it up by the bootstraps. As we saw when he returned to Formula 1 in, you know, the mid-2000s to race for Mercedes, before Mercedes got good, Schumacher couldn't deliver in that car. He could not get that car to perform, you know. But it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the Formula 1 aspect of the career. Now we've got a couple more race weekends to go in Formula 2 here, and then hopefully we'll start taking some contract offers from the Formula 1 teams. We'll decide where we're going to be spending our first season in the big league. I don't necessarily know whether I want to start Formula 1 as one of the small bottom teams like Ferrari, or whether to start as a midfield team. I don't really want to start at the top with Mercedes or Red Bull or McLaren, you know. But a midfield team should be quite good.
Increasing the gap on the car behind by 5
tenths per lap. See, that's got to be the tyre difference now. That's got to be tyre compound, because they're all running the mediums and I'm still on the softs. So the softs are about maybe 5 tenths quicker, maybe a couple of tenths quicker than the mediums, and then obviously driver. But anyway, I've decided this lap I am boxing. We made it to lap 10, so we completed 10 laps on the soft tyre. We've got 9 to do on the mediums. On a track that will obviously now be much more rubbered in, so it should have less wear anyway. I'm obviously on a lighter fuel load now, as I've used over half my fuel.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Should be able to make these tyres last, as well as being quick on them. I'm still going to be quick. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if I start setting some fastest laps on these tyres. But I'm going to have plenty of rubber to take into that sprint race. Which is my big thing, and this time I don't care what Jeff or the team says, in the sprint race I will not be boxing. I'm not going to change tyres, because they've screwed me over the last couple of races. Already I'm feeling much happier on these medium tyres. The steering has completely changed in my steering wheel, and I just feel a lot happier with this settle. Don't know what it is.
Okay, the gap behind is 5.6 seconds.
Yeah, we're just pulling out a bit of a gap over Lacey, who must have jumped my son, Mick, in the pit stop. Must have jumped Mick in the pit stop. The title rival, Antoine Hubert, is down in 4th place, so at the minute I'm scoring a bucket load of points more than him, which is good for the championship point of view. My teammate though is not in the running, so I'm the only one probably going to be scoring points for the team.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Oh yeah, told you I'd probably start setting fast laps, even though I'm technically the slower of the 2 tyres. But when the car's handling better, and I'm obviously a lot more confident at the wheel, because I trust the car to be where I want it to be, you can go a lot faster. Starting to push a little bit. I've set a purple sector 1. Personal best in sector 2. Probably set another fast lap here. Yeah. No, in fact, purple sector
Good
3.
job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Pushing the fastest laps now. Highware's looking good. Even though we've still got 5 laps to go. Didn't improve in sector 1 there. That was actually quite slow, sector 1 for me on that lap. Must have made some little errors. And a slow sector 2. Just a bit ragged on this lap. Not quite. I'm probably pushing a little bit too hard. I'm trying to set fastest laps on every lap. And I don't need to do that. I don't need to push that hard. I've got a nice gap now. I could actually start to relax and take it a little bit easy. Which would be another good way of saving tyres for the sprint races if I just backed off a bit each lap.
Out a second lap
Yeah,
on the
there's
car
no
behind.
reason for me to do that. I don't need to be going that hard. That's something I'm going to have to learn and adopt when I'm in Formula 1, because durability on the cars is going to be a thing that we're going to have to deal with. It might be advised sometimes just to back off and just protect the car from wear and tear. Not that I expect to be running in a position where I can back off, not in the first season anyway, but you know, if we're in a race where we're not particularly going to gain anything, we're not gaining on the car ahead of us, the guy behind us isn't catching us, then at that point you might as well just try and turn things down a bit and protect your Because the worst thing in F1 is taking grid penalties for having new components, new engines, new gearboxes. So that's stuff I'm going to have to be very protective of, especially gearboxes. Gearboxes are my gremlin. Because I tend to rev the car a lot. I have a heavy right foot. I'm always on the loud pedal. For those of you wanting to play Brundle Bingo at home, there's one for you. Loud pedal works in both directions. If you've got that on your bingo board, get your dabber, mark it off. Just gotta watch them curbs a little bit, because those curbs, just behind the nice red and white bit, there's a lovely sort of curved part of the curb, and if you hit those, the car gets very unsettled and is very easy to spin. Very easy to spin. Whoa! And there you saw, I just got the rears on the curb and almost lost the car. So that would have cost me a little bit of time, but thankfully I've got a nice gap. 3 laps to go. Looking at all the temperatures and everything. Car's looking okay. Engine's nice and green. We're not overheating that. One of the things I have noticed in this Formula 2 career is that when I have been looking at the temperature gauge whenever I've been running in traffic, like in the sprint races, how quickly that engine gets into the yellow when you're following another car. I wonder if that's why we see so many engine blow-ups. We've seen so many engine blow-ups in this career so far from other teams, especially if they're constantly running in traffic, every feature race, every sprint race. I wonder if they're just, the dirty air is just killing their engines. I mean, I've been fortunate, I haven't had to run a lot in dirty air, but on the occasions where I have been behind other cars, it's got me a little bit nervous how quickly that thing goes into the yellow and approaches the red. I certainly wouldn't want to be doing it for lap after lap after lap after lap, because I don't think reliability of these cars would cope with it, especially as you're not able to develop these cars at any point in the season, not like in the F1 part of the career. I think I've passed the point now where I've maybe took the best out of the tyres, because I'm not getting any purple sectors anymore, even though the fuel load keeps coming down and we're getting close to being, you know, almost out of fuel. I've not set any fast laps. In fact, I haven't even been close to setting a fast lap in the last couple of laps. I'm red in every sector, so maybe, just maybe, we've reached that point where you can't improve anymore. Right, final lap.
This is your final lap.
Thanks,
Final
Jeff,
lap
just
of the
said
race.
that. A little fuel gauge is blinking at me on the steering wheel or on the dash. The MFD means we haven't got a lot of fuel left. You have no control, by the way, on how much fuel you start the races with in Formula 2. It's a set amount, and it seems to be a little bit lean. I mean, imagine if you had some adventures in the race, you might be struggling to finish the race on the fuel, because you can't change engine modes. You can't go like lean, rich, whatever. I might just set a fast lap on the last lap.
That's a race win. You've really been great today.
Might have possibly been a fastest lap right at the end. Jordan King got driver of the day, really? Not me, despite the fact I started third.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for ART today. Tell me, Davide, what was the key to this success?
This race, this win, was about one thing and one thing only: consistency. Anyone can be quick for just one lap, but there's a difference between that and being quick every lap, over and over and over. If you can do that, if you can gain ground when your opponents make mistakes, but then not make mistakes on your own, you can just push and push.
Exactly.
An amazing race today and a very well-deserved one.
There's
too.
Mick,
The
there's
team
son Mick.
worked very hard to
He's
get
in
exactly
third
the right
place.
setup out of the F2 car that works for them. And
We've
the
spent a
results
lot of
speak
time
for
on the
themselves.
podium with our kid.
ARTGP winners today.
Dad's still got it. He might get promoted to F1 before him. A bunch of bonus points from the podium pass, but I'm already at max tier, so these points sadly go to waste. I don't think they are saved up for the next tier.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Schumacher increases their championship lead. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Very difficult, but I'll say Jordan King. He's cool under pressure and he made the most of a difficult race today.
And here's how things are shaping
Jordan
up
King
in
started
the team
13th, finished
ART
7th.
have extended their lead over the championship. Meanwhile, Arden's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Yeah, Jordan, possibly, maybe. He gained the most places. He did gain the most places in the race, which I suppose does qualify him for driver of the day more than maybe me. But Drivers' Championship standings, we have got quite a comfortable lead over Antoine. And obviously ART leading the way in the Constructors. But we can look forward to the sprint race now.
We're back. For the second race, we've reversed the top 8 from yesterday, and everyone here is getting ready for what's shaping up to be a thrilling conclusion to the weekend.
27 degrees clear, dry tracks are a little bit warmer today.
As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
The team are expecting a lot after your podium last race. Concentrate on getting into the points and push on from there.
Okay, Jeff, we'll try. Look, I can see what strategy you're going for here, Jeff. You want me to start on these mediums and then come in and pit for softs about lap 9. Well, guess what, Jeff? I'm not going to be doing that. And I've got a good start again. I've got Mick already. Ooh. Somebody's gone. Somebody's gone for a outage. Somebody's gone. Somebody's not finishing this race. Got one car in front of me, which is Jordan King. See when we're going to launch an attack on this guy.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
I'm not going to be close enough to have a dive in here. We're not. I'd rather keep my front wing. So we're just going to follow the guy. Ooh. He was a bit slower than me there. You might get a run at him. Not close enough, sadly. We might get DRS at the end of this lap, so just stay close to him. We might be able to take him down the start and finish straight. Right, we're close enough. We're close enough. Get that rear wing open. No DRS yet.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
We haven't earned it yet. Right, okay. It's only just been activated, so we would have had it on the next lap. But thankfully, I didn't need it. I was able to slipstream him. And then just be braver on the brakes and later on the brakes. And we're off and running. Now we just run away from him. The rest of the field. We set a purple sector 1. So this is going to be a fast lap. Yeah, purple sector 2. Boy, smashing track records here. Only a personal best.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
But it's good enough for a 129.4. Just cruising now. Just cruising. Driving. Getting into the groove. We're only on lap 5 though. Told you this race is long. This race is super long. There's other races that have been on much, obviously, longer tracks that have just flown past in the blink of an eye. Whereas this one, for whatever reason, seems to be a long race. I think it's because of corners. You're always in a corner on this circuit.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
It's going to be a massive difference when we go to the next Grand Prix in Spa.
We're leading our teammate by 13.6 seconds.
Well, you're not going to be on the brakes very often. There's not going to be a lot of brake usage at Spa. A couple of heavy braking zones, but most of the time you're going to be on the throttle. Of 14. Coming up to halfway distance. Tyres still feel fantastic. And a huge difference in this race is the fact that I have actually pulled out time on the cars behind me. I am just quicker and more comfortable on these tyres than the AI. The AI are very slow on the harder tyres. You remember back in the feature race, I could not pull away from them on the softs. On the softs, they were able to stay with me up until the pit window.
We're approaching the pit window.
But once I strapped on the mediums, and so did they, I was a lot faster than them. And that's the same now in this race. And especially as we're all on used medium tyres, I'm going to guess mine are in better condition than theirs, because they stopped a heck of a lot earlier than I did. So their medium tyres will have done way more laps than me. And I just tend to be pretty good on tyre wear anyway. I don't tend to wear my tyres out as quick as the AI.
No need to worry about tyre condition for now.
Jeff's just telling me that the tyres look great. So I'm not worried about the tyres. Round about this point that I would expect to see some of the cars behind me maybe pitting and putting on a set of softs. So if the cars behind me suddenly drop to like 30 seconds behind me, that'll be why, because they will have pitted. There is one car in the pits at the moment. One of the, is it blue Carlins? Hard to tell whether it's a Carlin or a Trident, but it's one of the blue cars. Field's getting a little bit spread out. Some are just coming into that section that I've quite a lot, but then there's quite a few cars that are only just going through the second sector. Looking at the track map, so it looks like there's like the field is spread like in like 3 packs at the minute. There's me out on my own. There's, I suppose, then probably the top 10 guys running in a group, and then quite a bit behind them there's the rest of the field. Personal best sector 1, but not the fastest ultimate sector 1. Not sure how that really works. How can I set a personal best but not be fastest overall? Because I'm pretty sure I'm the quickest person. I've set a fastest overall purple sector 2. So this lap's going to be quick. This lap's going to be a quick lap. That 128.75 is probably going to get smashed.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
127.8. Yes. 0.8 faster on that lap than at any other point in the race.
Okay, you're creating some
10
breathing
lap
space between
old
you and the car
tyres.
behind by a few seconds per lap.
Again, personal best sector 1. Slow sector 2. Didn't improve in sector 2. So although I'm getting quicker in the first sector, I'm starting to lose out in some of these other ones. Highway. Front left is about 57%. Again, is the most heavily worn tyre. We obviously have a lot of right-hand corners where weight shift is on the outside.
Yellow flag.
Oh, we've got a yellow flag. Somebody's off.
Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow
Car
flag
in the
ahead.
barrier. It probably wouldn't be a good idea to go and set a purple sector time now, would it? Probably get into trouble for that.
We've been awarded a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time
Yeah,
at the end
cheers,
of the
Jeff.
race.
I appreciate the fact I went a little bit wide there. Well, did slightly lose control of the car, but, you know, it is what it is. probably peaked, because I think at this stage now the tyre wear is going to be working against me. I don't think I'm going to be able to go any faster than my 1:27.8. So, case now of making sure we bring the car home. Because I do not want to have to pit. I'm still not convinced that a lot of the front runners have. I certainly don't think Alesi, Boschung, Mazepan, Giotto.
Gap to teammate behind is 23.3
Don't think
seconds.
they've pitted. Looking at their tyre compounds, they look to be all running mediums still. That's a good indicator that they've not pitted. Some guys have dropped out, like Schumacher's disappeared, my son, so he must have come in and fitted a set of softs. Purple sector 3. So we did go quick in the final sector, the two very slow ones. Purple sector 1. Maybe there's another fast lap in me. I'm pretty much only racing myself at this point, so fastest laps is all I've really got to aim for. Slow sector 2. 5/10 down. Wasn't quick in sector 2, sadly.
This is your final lap. Final lap of the
Final
race.
lap of the race. Here we go then. Come home and to take 2 wins from Hungary. Very nice. On purple sector 1. Nice if we could do a fast lap on the last lap. Just to only find some time in sector 2 though. Little bit down, only a little bit. Sure we can make that up with a good final corner. Go on, push it to the line. Push it to the line, Michael. Push it.
Yes, you've done it. Well done.
Well, there we go. Our second race victory.
A great win then for the ART team today. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
This is why I love this sport. Their car dominated the track today. You could tell they went in full of confidence, with a clear strategy in place. They displayed excellent knowledge of the track and made it count when it comes to some of those more tricky corners, allowing them to make huge gains on some of the less confident drivers. I guarantee the fans will certainly be talking about today for a long time to come.
ART, the French team who have been racing since the 90s in various forms of motorsport, are once again back on the winner's podium today after a brilliant display of driving skill.
That was good. That was good, because obviously we started in 8th, we got a good start, made up the places, and then just controlled the race from the front, like we do always do. If I get to the front, I'm pretty happy, I'm pretty comfortable. No? And again, a bunch more podium pass points, which I can't benefit from, because I'm already max level.
After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Schumacher increases
I actually
their
got 2 time
lead.
penalties.
Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
I think it has to be a Luca Ghiotto. You know, good on tires, some nice passes. I can't really think of anyone who caught my eyes more today.
On to the teams then. ART have extended their lead over the championship. It was also a strong race from Trident this weekend. Fantastic work from the Italian team to move themselves further up the table. There will be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you'll join us at the next race when Formula 2
we will be
returns.
in Spa, everybody. So be sure to come back and join me then for the next video. Goodbye for now, folks.